They are saying that Professor Nwosu and President Babangida fooled 18 million Nigerians that voted.
You have 1 second. You have 2 seconds remaining.
Therefore, let me round up, Mr. President. I thank you for your this because this is very important. If you couldn't, this is my last point, sir. I appreciate. This is my last point. So I want my in-laws to understand. If he was afraid of the gun, because we are under dictatorship, some people might say, well, but there were Nigerians who were protesting under the gun without minding the consequences. After the end of Babangida tenure, the death of Abiola, the birth of the new democracy that produced President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Obasanjo. Since then, I would have expected Nwosu to say, either on his birthday or on any special occasion, now that we are back to democracy, there is freedom of speech, even the freedom to lie. I would have expected Nwosu to be able to say, I could not declare these numbers.
Thank you.
Now, on my record, Abiola won this election.
Thank you. Senator Osita, you have the floor.
He died without confession.
Thank you.
He died without confession.
According to our effort, you knew all the problems, all the restrictions. In spite of all that, June 12 came. The election was conducted. It was peaceful. Materials were distributed all over Nigeria promptly in all difficult terrain because of arrangement and logistic preparation we put in place. So when the results started coming in, June 13, 14, in fact it was to be concluded around June 17, 18. The other party, NRC, had even congratulated SDP for winning. Suddenly there was a letter served on me by Commissioner of Police that we should cease forthwith in releasing the results. I summoned on June 16 emergency meeting of the commission. All the results had come in with the exception of that of Taraba, which the resident electoral commissioner from Delta, Professor Sada, was on his way to bring. We would have released the result about June 17. So they said, stop. I was served. In fact, I was called in a meeting of National Defense and Security Council and said, would you release this result without knowing? I said, that's the law. There was no provision of the highest ruling military body to vet the result. The law says that the result should be announced at each level. The polling station level, ward headquarters, local government, state, and finally their conclusion at headquarters. In fact, almost every person, owing to the communication system we put in place, could even collate to know that Abiola had won. Now, with that, my commission met and we decided that we would challenge that ruling by court, Abuja High Court, because it's Commissioner of Police that served it. And when the next step was I was summoned at the level of the National Defense Security and Defense Council.
Headed by Babangida?
Babangida and Abacha was prominent. They said, okay, that a committee headed by Abacha should find a solution to the problem. I said, how do we find a problem? We should be allowed to conclude what we started. He said, Abacha. In that committee, I'm quoting names. Abacha was in it. Nyako. Nyako was in it. General Aliyu Gusso was in it. David Mark was in it, was the Minister of Communication. I was in it, Secretary of the Commission, Director of Legal Services was in it, Professor Deria, National Commissioner representing Rivers State. We met in Abacha, when we met in Abacha's house, guest house in Abuja. He set another subcommittee, including myself, Akpambo, late now, Akilu, the Secretary of the Commission, I think one other advisor in law in the State House. When we got at that subcommittee level, I told them, gentlemen, there is nothing for us to meet. The law is clear. Elections have been conducted. Results have been collected. The only one remaining is that of Taraba. And he had come along with it. Please allow us to conclude. We are a technical body. We are not politicians. In any case, if you don't want us to release the result, you should call Abiola and Tofa or negotiate with Abiola. That Abiola was the winner. He shouted on me, "Who are you to tell us what to do? You are not a member of National Defense and Security Council. You are not. The council and the court decided you should not conduct the election. You went ahead and conducted the election, that it was illegal." You will recall, throughout Abacha's regime, his Minister for Information regarded our election as illegal. He said, well, you are not a member. Go to Asorok, where all of us will now take a decision.
All right, so Adams Oshiomhole, they're making a case why Professor Henry Nwosu should not be immortalized. I had to add up the video of Professor Henry Nwosu where he was being interviewed sometime around 2015 or so. That was about 10 years ago, right? At the Center for Media and Peace Initiative, CMPI. And then that was Omoyele show where he was interviewing there. The video is still on Sahara TV on YouTube. You can go check that out. Unfortunately, we have a generation that do not read, that are not inquisitive, quite shallow. So I'm seeing comments to say Oshiomhole was right. Oshiomhole is a born liar, is a pathological liar. And I'm not making a case for Henry Nwosu, but for Oshiomhole to have lied on the dead man's head that he'd never said anywhere, even on his bed anywhere, that there's a book laying the foundation for Nigeria's democracy, my account of the June 12, 1993 elections and his annulment, that Professor Henry Nwosu wrote. Is still on all platforms. Surprisingly, people like Oshiomhole would not value that. It didn't make sense. So this is a video interview of him confirming, yes, there was a state left and that Taraba was yet to be collated, but it was already obvious that Abiola had won the election by MySpace. Unfortunately, so just so you know, let's put this in proper context. The person that annulled the election, Tinubu went to sit with him. Nigerian political class went to celebrate with him, launched his book, and dined with him. It was the NEC chairman that did all his best against military opposition in the face of being killed or pied for just no reason, that should take the blame. The person that annulled the election, he celebrated it today. But the man that tried his best, and you know the worst part, the beautiful thing about all of this picture is that you are seeing Oshiomhole and the rest of the senators refusing to accept or acknowledge Professor Henry Nwosu's effort in a military government. These same people sit under a civilian rule and rubbish happens and they defend it. These same people sit and allow a government to create unconstitutional, illegal government in state of this country, and they keep quiet. They blame a man that they said he should have announced it regardless of anything in a civilian government. But then they sit here now as actors and players in a civilian government, and they cannot do anything. That's loud. That's loud. Very loud. Very loud. And I'm going to say this as my final words. These people will laugh at us. They will mock us in future. To say you had a chance to have sacked us. You had a chance to have removed us. You had a chance to have dealt with us. You were waiting for elections to do it. If you were bold enough, if we have dealt with you enough, you knew what to do. This is the lesson, and I'll drop it here. We'll take it up another time. Bye for now.